I need you to understand something before I start. I'm not the kind of person who posts things like this. I don't write on forums. I don't record voice memos of myself talking into the dark. But I've been doing both for the past 3 weeks, and I honestly don't know what's real anymore. So I figured if I write it all down, all of it, in order, maybe I'll see something I missed. Or maybe you will. It started with a notification, nothing dramatic. Just a little pop-up on my phone at 2:18 in the morning on a Tuesday. It said, "New device connected to your network." I was half asleep, lying in bed with the blue light of my phone cutting through the dark. I read it twice. Then I put the phone face down on my nightstand and told myself it was probably my neighbor's kid, someone accidentally jumping on my open channel. Or maybe I just dreamed the whole thing. I hadn't changed my Wi-Fi password in almost 2 years. I know that sounds careless, but I live alone. I live in a mid-rise apartment on the 4th floor of a building where I barely know anyone's name. I have a cat named Oates and a standing desk and a very boring life. There's nobody who would want to be on my network. There's nobody who would bother. So I put the phone down and I went back to sleep. The next morning, I checked the router app while I was making coffee. There were 3 connected devices: my laptop, my phone, and something listed only as ESP_7F3A. I Googled it. Some kind of microcontroller. The kind used in DIY electronics projects, home automation, that kind of thing. Nothing alarming on its own, but it hadn't been there the night before. I changed my password that morning. Strong one this time, 16 characters, mixed case, numbers, the whole thing. I felt a little paranoid doing it, but also kind of responsible. Like I'd finally fixed a loose step on a staircase I'd been ignoring. I didn't think about it again for 4 days. Then on Saturday night, actually Sunday morning technically, I woke up at 2:21 and my phone had no Wi-Fi. Just the little icon with the slash through it. I connected back manually, so my network was still there, reconnected, didn't think much of it. I had half a glass of water and went back to sleep. But something in my stomach felt wrong. That specific feeling. Not fear exactly. More like the feeling you get when you walk to your car and something is slightly different, but you can't name it yet. A feeling like the air has shifted in a room where it shouldn't have. I should have trusted that feeling. I should have trusted it from the very first night. I didn't.
Let me tell you about my apartment, because the layout matters. It's a 1-bedroom on the 4th floor, corner unit, windows on 2 sides. The living room faces the street, my bedroom faces the inner courtyard. There's one other unit that faces that courtyard on my level. Unit 4C. I'd seen the person living there maybe 3 or 4 times. A man, maybe late 30s, early 40s, who had his eyes down when we passed in the hallway. I didn't even know his name. I'm telling you this because of what I noticed about a week after the first Wi-Fi notification. I was sitting at my desk when I had that feeling again. That shifted air feeling. I turned around. Nothing. But I walked to my bedroom anyway. I stood at my bedroom window and looked down into the courtyard. The light in Unit 4C was on, and there was a shape behind the curtain. Not moving. Just there. I told myself it was just a lamp. That night, at 2:17 exactly, my Wi-Fi disconnected. I grabbed my phone and opened the router app, and there it was again, a new device. This time listed as Android_BF99. I changed my password again. Right then, at 2:19 in the morning, device dropped off instantly. I sat on the edge of my bed in the dark for a while after that. I told myself there was a rational explanation. But my network wasn't open. I had just changed the password 4 days ago. So I went down a research hole the next day that lasted about 6 hours and ended with me feeling both smarter and significantly worse. It turns out there's a whole category of network intrusion that doesn't require knowing your Wi-Fi password. Authentication attacks. Evil twin networks. There are tools freely available. not even that technical, that can force a device off a network, intercept the reconnect handshake, and crack the password from that. It's not instant, but on a home network with a standard router and a motivated person, it's not theoretical either. It's documented. It has tutorials. I want to be very clear, I'm not a tech person. I work in content editing. I know how to use software, but I couldn't tell you what a packet is. Reading about all of this felt like reading a foreign language with about 60% cognate overlap. I understood enough to be scared, not enough to feel competent. What I understood was, if someone was close enough, physically close, like same building close, and they had the right software, and about 20 minutes of patience, they could get on my network whether I wanted them there or not. I looked up the man from 4C. I didn't have a name. I searched the building's management website for a directory. Nothing public. Tried to remember if I'd ever seen his last name on the mailboxes downstairs. The slots had little typed labels, but most of them had yellowed and faded, and honestly, I'd never paid attention. I almost knocked on his door. I stood in the hallway twice that week with my fist raised. Both times, I talked myself out of it. What was I going to say? I think you're connecting to my Wi-Fi at 2 in the morning. I think the shape behind your curtain was watching my window. I had nothing concrete. I had a notification and a feeling and 2 device names I couldn't prove meant anything. So instead, I bought a new router, one with better security features, WPA3 encryption, and a companion app that logged every connection attempt, not just successful ones. It arrived in 2 days. I set it up in an afternoon, configured everything, changed the network name so it wouldn't be recognizable as mine. I named it Netgear_5G_2, completely generic. Nothing that would flag it as an individual unit. I felt better that night. Genuinely, I made dinner. I watched something forgettable on my laptop. Oats slept on my feet. At 2:17 a.m., my phone vibrated. Connection attempt blocked. Unknown device. I stared at the notification for a long time. The attempt had been made. It just hadn't succeeded this time. Someone had tried to get in. At 2:17. Again, I opened the app's log and looked at the device identifier. I screenshot it, then opened my old screenshots and compared. Different device name, same behavior. Same time, started with a notification. Blocked attempt on my Wi-Fi. I didn't think much of it at first, probably a glitch. But then it happened again, and again. The same device, every night, at the exact same time. Curiosity turned into a little bit of unease. Who was trying to get into my network? I started looking at the device name. John's MacBook Pro. My heart skipped a beat. My new neighbor, the one who just moved in next door, his name is John. Is this just a crazy coincidence, or is he the one trying to break into my life, one password attempt at a time? I see him in the hallway now, and all I can think is, what does he want? Every notification sound makes me jump. I think I need to find out for sure. What would you do? Let me know in the comments, and follow to see what happens next. Started subtly, so small I almost missed it. An ad for a niche brand of coffee I'd only mentioned in a private message. Then, a song recommendation from a playlist I listened to once, months ago. I brushed it off. Coincidence, right? The internet is weird. But then the notes started appearing. The first one was tucked under my keyboard. Just 2 words. Nice sweater. I was wearing a new sweater ID, only posted a picture of on my lockdown social media account. My blood ran cold. The next day, a note was taped to my monitor. Sleepless night. I had been up late, scrolling through articles about online privacy. My face illuminated by the screen. The fear began to crawl under my skin, a constant itchy feeling. Changed all my passwords, covered my laptop camera, and triple-checked my privacy settings. But the notes kept coming. Good luck on the presentation. Hope your friend feels better. Things no one should know. I started seeing shadows in the corner of my eye, hearing whispers in the static of my headphones. Every notification on my phone made me jump. I felt a constant gaze on me, even when I was alone. Was it all in my head? Was I losing my mind? Or was someone really watching my every move, turning my digital life into a prison? The line between the screen and reality is blurring, and I'm terrified of what I'll find when it disappears completely. Thanks for watching. If you've ever felt like this, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I went to the building manager the next morning. Her name was Patricia, mid-50s, black woman, natural gray in her hair, reading glasses always perched at the end of her nose. She was straightforward and competent, and I liked her. I told her I was having some issues with my network and I thought someone in the building might be attempting to access it. She listened carefully. She asked if I'd contacted my ISP. I said the issue wasn't with the ISP, that I had logs of connection attempts. She nodded and said she'd look into it, and that she'd send a notice reminding tenants about building policies on network use. I could tell she thought I was being a little paranoid. She didn't say that. She was professional, but I could see it in the small pause before she nodded. In the careful way she chose words that didn't confirm my interpretation of events. I showed her the grocery note. She looked at it for longer than I expected. Did you ask any neighbors about this? She said no. I said, it felt safer not to. She wrote something down. She said she'd document it. She told me to let her know if anything escalated. I went back upstairs and I sat at my desk and I thought about the word escalated. I turned it over. Because here's the thing, from where I was standing, it had already escalated. It had escalated the moment the note appeared. The network stuff was abstract. You can talk yourself out of abstract. But a handwritten note sitting on top of your groceries is not abstract. That's physical proximity. That's a decision. That's someone choosing to let you know they were watching. That's the part I couldn't talk myself out of. I installed a camera, a small one, pointed at the interior of my front door, not the hallway, because apparently that has privacy implications even if it's technically your space near your door. The camera connected to an app on my phone and logged motion events, the win, through a period of about 5 days when nothing happened. No blocked Wi-Fi attempts, no notes, no motion events that weren't me or oats. I started to feel the specific exhaustion that comes, not from things happening, but from waiting for them to happen. I was sleeping in 2 and 3 hour stretches. I was jumpy at sounds. IDs started leaving the TV on at low volume overnight because the silence had started to feel dense and deliberate. A friend texted me during this period asking if I was okay. She said I'd been quiet and she'd noticed. I said I was just stressed from work. I didn't tell her the real thing because I knew how it would sound. I knew it sounded like someone who was unsleeping enough and had started connecting dots that might not connect. I knew it because I was asking myself the same question. And then on day 6, the camera logged a motion event at 2:14 a.m. Not me, not Oates. I opened the clip with my hands shaking a little. It showed my front door from inside the deadbolt, the handle, the little rectangle of hallway light under the bottom edge. The motion that had triggered it wasn't inside the apartment. It was the shadow. The strip of light under the door had changed. Something had moved through the hallway outside, close enough to my door to alter the light coming underneath it. It lasted about 4 seconds. Then the light normalized. That was it. That was the whole clip. A shadow that moved past my door, in my hallway, at 2:14 a.m. I sat with that for 3 days before I admitted to myself what it felt like. It felt like a patrol. It felt like a check. It felt like someone walking that hall slowly enough to see if there was light under my door. Movement, sound, any sign that I was awake. That, I knew. I started varying my schedule. At some point, I realized I'd been completely predictable. Predictable is comfortable. Predictable is also a map for someone to follow. So, I stopped being on my Wi-Fi. I bought a data plan add-on for my phone and just stopped connecting my laptop to the home network at all. This felt either very smart or very unhinged. I couldn't decide which. The blocked login attempts kept coming, always at 2:17 a.m. And then one night, a new log entry appeared in my camera app. It wasn't a door shadow this time. It was a sound event. The recording was only 11 seconds long. For most of it, there was nothing. And then, very clearly, I heard a slow, deliberate sound, like a single fingertip being dragged in a straight, horizontal line across the surface of my front door. I called the police non-emergency line. I want to tell you this went well. It didn't go badly. No one was dismissive or rude, but I want you to understand how a report like mine sounds to someone on the other end of that call. a Wi-Fi log, a grocery note, a shadow under a door, a sound on a camera, all of it suggestive. None of it, legally, a crime. Not yet. The officer I spoke with was patient. He took notes. He told me I could file a report and that it would be on record, which would matter if something else happened. He suggested I let my building management know to pull hallway camera footage from the nights in question. Apparently, buildings are required to keep that footage for a certain window of time. 2. I went back to Patricia with all of this the next day. I had my phone log printed out. I had the camera clips on my phone to show her. She pulled the hallway footage herself that afternoon. The footage from the night of the audio clip, the night of the finger dragged across the door, showed the hallway empty. At 2:14, empty. At 2:17, empty. No one walking past my door. No shadow. None. 2. I watched that footage 3 times in Patricia's small office behind the management desk. My own camera had logged the audio event. Her hallway camera showed nothing. Patricia looked at me carefully. The cameras have a 30-second delay in some situations, she said. It's possible someone moved quickly enough to miss it. She said it like she meant it, but I heard the space around it. The space where other explanations lived. I went home and sat in my apartment and thought, what if I am wrong about all of this? What if the note was from someone completely innocent? What if the shadow was a late-night neighbor? What if the audio was a pipe or a vent or a rat in the wall? What if I have been constructing a person out of coincidence and insomnia? 4. What if the thing I should be afraid of is what's happening inside my own head? D. I didn't see D. Mercer for almost 3 weeks after I found his name. Then I ran into him by the mailboxes. He was thinner than I remembered. Gray zip-up, dark pants, light brown hair hanging over his ears. His face was careful, like it had practiced not giving things away. We looked at each other. Then he said, "Hey," I said. "Hey," back. We stood there, pretending to look at mail we weren't reading. I left first. As the elevator doors closed, I caught a reflection. D. Mercer, still standing there, looking at the space where I had just been. I got to my apartment, and my hands were shaking slightly. I sat there for a long time. Then I got up, made coffee, and started writing everything down. I needed someone else to see it. This is where things change. This is the part I have to tell you that I still don't fully understand. I went back through my entire log, all of it. Dates, times, everything. And I found a detail I'd been reading past without even registering. The very first Wi-Fi notification, the one that started this whole thing, had come at 2:18 a.m. Bet. Every single blocked attempt after I changed to the new router had come at 2:17. The sound of the finger on the door. That was logged at 2:14. The shadow my camera caught in the hallway appeared at 2:14 as well. But when my building manager pulled the footage from the main hallway camera, there was no one there. I went back even further. I looked at my own camera app's motion log, which records every single trigger, not just the ones I've reviewed. Going all the way back to the day I installed it. There were motion events I hadn't opened, flagged automatically as low priority because they happened during the day. I hadn't looked at them carefully, so I started opening them. Most were just my cat, or me, or a draft from the door. But there were 6. 6 events, all between 2:09 and 2:19 a.m., all spanning the last 2 months. I'd missed the notifications because my phone was face down. I opened all 6. Every single one was the same clip, my front door, the deadbolt, the sliver of light underneath, and in 4 of those 6, the shadow was there. Something moving past, slowly. In one clip, the shadow stopped. It just sat there, in that strip of light under my door, for 47 seconds. Then it moved on. And in the very last clip, the oldest one, from almost 2 months ago, the light didn't change at all. What changed was the door handle. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the handle turned, not enough to open it. Just enough to test it. Just enough to find out if it was locked. I put a second lock on my door that weekend. A door bar, the kind that wedges under the handle and braces against the floor. And a door alarm, the type that shrieks if the door opens even slightly. I replaced the deadbolt, which I had the right to do under my lease, and I gave the new key to no one. I stopped opening my door for any reason at night. Packages, knocks, anything. I called my ex, the one who'd had my old Wi-Fi password. I know this seems backward, given that I'd mostly ruled him out, but I needed to eliminate variables. I kept it casual, asked how he was doing, chatted for a few minutes, then worked it around. Hey, do you still have my Wi-Fi password somewhere? Taya. I wanted to make sure I cleared it from everywhere. He laughed, said he was pretty sure he'd never even manually saved it, that it had just been on a device he'd since replaced. He asked why. I said I was just doing a security audit. He said that sounded very adult of me. We hung up pleasantly. Cross that one off. I thought about going to the police again. I thought about what I had that was new, a log of camera events I hadn't previously reviewed. A door handle test from 2 months ago. Better than before, but still, to someone hearing it fresh, still inferential. Still the kind of thing a lawyer could turn into a story about a woman who was unsleeping well and had started seeing patterns in shadows. I needed something direct, something undeniable. So I set up a second camera, this one in my bedroom, pointing at the window, the one facing the courtyard. The one that had a direct line of sight to Unit 4C. 7 nights later, at 2:11 a.m., the bedroom camera caught something. I was asleep. I didn't see it happen. I woke up the next morning, made coffee, and opened the app to check overnight events, the way I'd started doing every morning, like a ritual. The clip was 43 seconds long. My bedroom window, the courtyard below, dark, the gate, the 2 benches, and the lit window of Unit 4C with the thin curtain. The curtain pulled aside. D. Mercer at the window, looking up. He was in profile at first. I could see the sharp line of his nose, the longer hair, the grey hip up. He was holding something. I can tell what at first, in the low light. Then he turned slightly, and the screen light from whatever he was holding caught his face. And I could see he was looking at something on the screen. And then he looked up, directly at my window. He stood there for a long time. My light was off. He couldn't have seen anything. But he stood there and looked at the dark shape of my window, and I watched it happen the next morning while I held my coffee cup with both hands and tried to breathe normally. The clip ended. I watched it 4 more times. Then I sent it to my email, saved it to my cloud backup, texted it to my mum with no context because I just needed it somewhere else. Somewhere someone else had seen it, too. And then I opened my notes log and I saw something I'd written weeks ago and not thought about since. I'd written, on the day I found his LinkedIn, network systems consultant. I'd written it and moved on. But now I sat with it. A network systems consultant who lived across a courtyard from me, who had been on my network, who had, I was now almost certain, intercepted my grocery order, left a note, walked my hallway in the middle of the night, tested my door handle, and who stood at his window at 2 a.m. looking at my dark window. There was one question I hadn't asked myself yet. One question I'd been circling, why me? Specifically, of all the people in this building, on this floor, in this city, why me? Tack. I found the answer, and I wish I hadn't. I'd moved into this apartment 26 months ago. I found the listing through a community housing board. I dug up that Reddit post. The account that had posted it had a username I didn't recognize. But it had other posts, all mentioning the same apartment building. One comment said, "There's a corner unit on the 4th floor that might be coming available soon. Nice courtyard view. Pretty quiet. My unit." Someone had wanted me in this apartment. I don't know if this was coincidence or something that was designed. But I know how long it takes to get comfortable, to stop noticing the things that are slightly wrong until they feel normal. 26 months. That's how long. I left 3 weeks ago. I didn't give notice. I packed what fit in my car and I drove. I'm staying with my mum for now. She's not asking questions. I gave everything to the police before I left. The full log, the camera clips, the Reddit archive. A detective took my statement. She said they'd gone to the apartment. She said it was empty. He was gone. I've been sleeping better here. I had forgotten what it was like to feel like the space around you is solid. But I've been thinking about something. When I went back through the Reddit account that had posted my listing, I noticed something about the timing. It never mentioned the same unit twice, and the most recent mention, posted about a month before I left, was not my unit. 2. It was a two-bedroom on the 3rd floor. Someone read that post? Somewhere, right now, someone is living in that apartment, and they think they found it by accident. And every night at 2:17 a.m., their Wi-Fi disconnects, and something else connects. And they roll over and go back to sleep.